afternoon, everyone. It's Iain from Ranking the Obscure, and welcome to another Ranking the Bands show. What have I got in store for you today? Well, we have got American rock band Evanescence. Amy Lee has got one of them voices that's made this band terrific. They were formed in 1995, and she formed it with a guitarist called Ben Moody. They did record a few independent albums, and they are out there, but I have not included them in the rankings because most of these songs have eventually appeared on their albums in some shape or form. Okay. This band's probably got a unique thing. They've recorded 5 albums. The lineups are all different on each and every one album. So yeah, it's a bit different for a band. You know, I've not had bands where there's not been solid. I mean, obviously Amy Lee's been there from day one, but everyone else has sort of come and gone. So we've got 5 albums to look at. So without further ado, we'll get cracking. Okay then, coming in at number 5 is their latest album, which came out earlier this year, The Bitter Truth. I struggle with this one. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but the guitar work, it doesn't seem as heavy. They've sort of shifted a little bit. There's still some good songs on this, but I do find it a little bit different and not what I was expecting from Evanescence. Okay, the first track on the album is Artifact the Turn. It's a short little song, but it's still got Amy Lee's distinctive vocals, and then that goes straight into a track called Broken Pieces Shine. It's got a good riff, but there's nothing here to say, oh, this is an absolute belter, unfortunately. Okay, next track, The Game Is Over. Again, it's got a heavy riff, but it doesn't light my fire, as they say. Next track, Yeah Right. Bit too electronic. This is an experimental track, I think. It needs more guitar riffs. Feed in the Dark. It's okay. I think they're just going through the motions with this one. Then we get Wasted on You, sorry. It's not a bad track. It's got a nice riff, but it's lacking that heaviness that you expect from their Evanescence. It's a bit limp, to put it another way. It just needs a little bit more beef. Like Better Without You, the next track. It's the same as the last one. It's not a bad song. Amy's terrific. I mean, her voice is still as strong as ever throughout the album, but it's her musicians behind her. I don't know if they've got the drive as much as Amy has. Then we get a track called Use My Voice. It's okay. That's all I can say about it. Number 9 on the tracks is Take Cover. It is one of the better tracks. It's got a little bit more oomph with it. But that's all I can say. Now the next track, Far From Heaven, is the best track. It's got orchestra on it, or orchestral keys, and I do enjoy that. I do like that sort of sound you get with Evanescence, and Amy's all over this. Great track, really, really good track. Part of Me, it's got that Evanescence signature. You know, you put it on and you know it is, but it's lacking them driving riffs. A little bit disappointing. And the last track, bit more. It's got a bit more of a driving riff, but it's just this album. It sort of lacks something. As I said, Amy's voice is terrific. It's just the rest of the band a little bit. I don't know. I mean, the band on this is obviously Amy Lee on vocals and piano, Troy McCorn on guitar, you've got Iain Majura on guitars, Tim McCord on bass, and Will Hunt on drums. So I don't know what happened there. Okay, moving up then. Number 4 is the 2011 album, their third release, self-titled Evanescence. This is a better album. It has got some interesting tracks on it. The lineup on this one was Amy Lee vocals and piano, Terry Balsamo on guitar, Troy McCorn on the guitar, Tim McCord on bass, and Will Hunt on drums. Okay, first track on here is a track called What You Want. Got some great vocals from Amy on here, and it has got a good nice riff, nice catchy tune as well. Good strong track. Next track, Made a So. This is a belter. It's got them strong heavy riffs that you expect from Evanescence. Amy's voice is there again. It's just all over this, and the drum sound good on this as well. Next track is The Change. Good riff again, good strong riffs throughout this album. Great track. Amy is all over this one again. Her voice is just right out that top drawer. Then we get My Heart Is Broken. Great track. The whole band really did it on this one. They pulled together and make it an absolute brilliant track. Then we get The Other Side. Solid track. As I say, it does what it says on the tin. It's everything that you expect from an Evanescence song. And then we get Erase This, another storming vocal from Amy, then driving guitars, then distinctive riffs that Evanescence are known for. Then we get the best track on the album, Lost in Paradise. Lost in Paradise is one of the best songs I've ever done. It's in I'd say my top 5 of Evanescence songs. It is absolutely brilliant song. I can't praise that one enough. Next song is a track called Sick. It's got a really eerie start on this. It's quite, you can expect mist to come around you when you're listening to this, but this is dominated by keyboards, but good keyboards, and you get the guitar work entwining in with the keyboards. Amy's vocals come in at the right place, and she complements that eerie sound. Terrific little song. Then we get a song called End of the Dream. It's another solid track. Good heavy riffs mixed with the keyboards. They seem to complement each other and play off each other very well on this track. Then we get a track called Oceans. The bass line on this keeps the song going, and the rest of the musicians sort of entwine around it and makes it a very solid song. Then we get Never Go Back. This is fast, heavy, another great driving bass line. Really outstanding bass on this. Again, holds that track together. Then we get a thing called Swimming Home. This is quite a slowish track for Evanescence. Still got some outstanding guitar riffs, but it's a slow one for them. Then we get a track called, these are bonus because I've got the bonus version. A New Way to Bleed. It's an okay track. Then we get Say You Will. This is a great track. Got great guitar work on this mellow track. It's very commercial sounding, but it does work, and it really is a great track. Then we get Disappear. This has got an eerie piano start, and then it moves into a heavy riff, and then that eerie piano comes back in. Good track. And we end up the last track, Secret Door. This is a classic sort of slow track from Evanescence. Strings, harp, terrific song. Okay, let's move on. Number 3, the 2006 album, their second, The Open Door. A solid album from top to bottom. On this lineup we have Amy Lee, Terry Balsamo, Jean Leconte, Will Boyd on bass, and Rocky Gray on drums. Okay, first track on here is Sweet Sacrifice. It's got a really unusual start, but Amy's vocal is unbelievable. The keyboard run through this, it's got that Middle Eastern feel, and it great combination with the heavy riffs. Lovely track, really mystique. Then we get a track called Call Me When You're Sober. Apparently this song is about an ex-boyfriend of Amy's who was heavily into drugs and drink, and she wrote it about him. It's a solid rocker. It's got the great use of the strings here. I think Amy Lee is an all-round musician, producer, whatever. She knows what she wants, and she's really good at what she does. Then we get a track called Way to the World. Great vocal here, using some voice effects that work really well on this track. Then we get one of the classic Evanescence songs, Lithium, excuse me. One of Amy's finest vocal work that she's ever done. Really brilliant track. Then we get Cloud 9. This is another belter. Amy's experimenting with voice effects again. The strings and keyboard mix well. Absolutely great driving heavy guitar riffs on this. Then we get the Snow White Queen. I'd say it's one of the weakest tracks on the album. It's nothing special, but it's listenable. Then we get my favourite track. No, I don't know if I pronounce this right. La Crimosa, something like that. If you know what it is, you know what I mean. This is awesome. It's a really creepy track as well. And Amy's got one of them voices that just makes it even creepier, and I mean that in a really nice way for Amy, because she's got an awesome range. Love the track. Short, sharp, but absolutely a belter. Then we get a track called Like You. This is another one of them slow moving tracks with Amy's vocal just amazing. Then we get a track called Lose Control. It's very similar to the previous track, Like You, sort of a mini epic that's 2 songs. Then about halfway through Lose Control we get some nice guitar riffs. Then we get a track called The Only One. This has got a driving guitar riff and some great piano work that sort of winds its way through the track. Getting some different sounds on the piano. Really good track. Then we get Your Star. The string in this is superb. It reminds me of a very early Muse sound from them first years, you know, Showbiz and just before. Terrific song, Really, really like that one. Then we get a track called All That I'm Living For. It's got them great riffs again, a little bit more eerie, and then storms into a cracking, awesome riff towards the end. Absolutely terrific. Then it ends up with a track called Good Enough. It's just one of those piano and string tracks, and Amy singing on it. It's fantastic. Okay, coming in at number 2 is their 2017 album, their 4th, Synthesis. Now, normally I don't rank basically rehashed versions of songs and they throw out on an album, but this is number 2 for a really good reason, damn good reason. It's basically it's reworks and a few previous material that hasn't been put out, but it's done with an orchestra as well. The live album that goes with this is just blinding. Amy Lee has just got one of them voices that really works with an orchestra, and that's why this album is one of my favourites, and that's why it's at number 2. It's taken great songs and made them even better. The rest of the band on this is Troy Horn on guitar, Iain on guitar and theremin, Tim McLeod on guitars and synths, and Will Hunt on drums. Okay, the first track is an overture. It's a 57-second bit. It's got daunting strings and piano, but you know it's going to lead into something fantastic, and it does. It goes into Never Go Back from Evanescence album. It's a great track anyway, but the strings just add to it in the orchestral version, and Amy just is all over this. Third track, this is a new track called High Low. This is stunning. Amy's vocal is just out there. She really hits it on this one, and this has got a most fantastic violin solo by a young lady called Lindsay Sterling. Absolutely kills it. It just makes the track what it is. Best track on the album. Terrific stuff. Then we get My Heart Is Broken, another favourite of my songs from the Evanescence album, but it sounds even better with the orchestral arrangement. Then we got La Crimosa, my favourite song off the Open Door. It's done fantastically. The orchestral version of this is just blows me away. Then we get another track from Evanescence, The End of the Dream, awesome version. Then we get Bring Me to Life off Fallen. It's one of my favourite songs by Evanescence, but it just even takes it to another level with the orchestral movement. Then we get a little interlude. It's a stunning piece of short music called Unraveling, and that goes nicely into Imaginary, another song that's just been brought to life, even though the original version is absolutely fantastic. Then we get Secret Door. This is even more stunning than the version that's on Evanescence. Then we get Lithium. I reckon this version of Lithium is far better than the Open Door, and that's not a bad version either. You just cannot say much more about that track. It's stunning. Then we get Lost in Paradise off Evanescence again. Just more of the same. Just took it to another level with the orchestral arrangement. Absolutely brilliant. Then we get Your Star. That song I said that sounds very early Muse. This is a very different interpretation. They put a drum. It's an orchestra, and then there's a drum machine to it. But it worked. An absolute clever bit of work that was. Terrific song. Then we get My Immortal. This is my favourite Evanescence track of all time. A classic that's been turned on its head with the orchestral version. The live version of this with the orchestra is just, no words can describe it. Then we get another little eerie piano piece called The In Between. Then we get a track, the last track is called Imperfection, that brings the traditional orchestral with a bit of modern dance to it, and it works, absolutely works. Amy Lee knows what she's doing. Okay then, well, if you haven't guessed, my number one is the debut album from 2003, Fallen. This still remains to the day my favourite Evanescence album. That doesn't mean I don't like the others, but this one just, I can still play this today and not get tired of any other tracks. It opens up with Going Under. You get that eerie start vocal and the guitar riff, and it goes straight into a terrific track. Absolutely belts out. Then we get Bring Me to Life. I love this song, and I like the little duo she has with Paul McCoy, sort of bringing that rock and a bit of rap. It sounds a bit more rappy, his vocal. Terrific song, I do like, and it's got some absolute belting riffs in this. Then we get Everybody's Fool, another solid track. There's not a bad track on this album. Well, there's not many bad tracks that Evanescence have ever done. And then we get My Immortal. It was the first track that I ever heard by Evanescence. I loved it then. It doesn't matter how many times I hear this, I don't get tired of it. I know there's some songs that, you know, I used that saying, if I don't hear that other song again, I won't be upset. But this one, it's in my all-time top 10. This is. It doesn't matter which version of it you get, it's just great. Okay, next track, Haunted. As it says by the name of it, this is a haunting song. The guitars are haunting, the vocals are haunting, the riffs are haunting. It just makes a great track. Okay, the next track on there is Tourniquet, which is actually got a cover of Soul Embraced, my Tourniquet. So I thought, let's have a listen to their version. And all I'll say is, Evanescence is far better, and you can actually understand the lyrics. I mean, I do like my fast metal, my speed metal, but I like to hear what they're singing, actually, not not just a load of noise that resembles singing. But it is a great track. Well, Evanescence's version is. Then we get Imaginary. All I've put in my notes for this is string plus piano plus heavy riff plus Amy singing. One hell of a track. That's all I say. It's great. And we get Taking Over Me, just another belter. You know what Evanescence is all about. And then we get Hello. This has got great piano. Amy's all over this track. Great cello. Makes it an outstanding track on the album. My Last Breath, another classic from the band. Everyone knows My Last Breath. It's just a brilliant track. Then we get Whisper. Great heavy start to this. And then daunting vocals from Amy Lee. Just makes it amazing. Then there's another version of My Immortal. This has got more guitar on, but this track, regardless of what arrangement is, it's still absolutely brilliant. I've had this album a long time, and as I said, I just don't get bored of this album. I did put it on before I did, while I was doing this, just to get me back into the feel of it. Didn't take me long, I just love it. So that's an end of another ranking for us. Just to remind you again that I'm on Facebook. So if you want to join, just find me on Facebook. Say you want to join. We're going to have a forum on there in the next couple of weeks. I'll put it on there, but we're going to have I think we'll have a discussion about our favourite gigs that we've been to. So if you want to join in with that, you need to sign up on Facebook, and we'll get something going on Messenger and see what happens. It'll be great to have a discussion. I've hopefully got one of my mates coming round, and we're going to do something over the weekend as a try. So make your comments below, subscribe, and I will see you all very shortly. So take care for now.